Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. In today's session, I'm going to take you through the MyFitnessPal app and explain you how to use the food diary feature. Now, what you need to do first thing first is go to the App Store, look for the MyFitnessPal app, and the icon is right here on the screen in the blue color. Okay, yes, it's a blue color icon. You need to spot this icon on the App Store, download this app on your phone, and then what you need to do is that you need to create a account on the app. Okay, so generally now if I log into the app, I have already created my account, but you will have to do this step. Okay, you can punch in your email ID or even sign in through Facebook or your Google ID. Okay, create an account, and once you start with the procedure of creating your account, the app obviously is going to ask you a couple of details about you, such as your age, your current weight, your current height, what is your goal, are you trying to gain muscle, are you trying to lose weight, you're trying to maintain. They are obviously going to ask you a lot more questions so that they can give you the right recommendations. Now generally MyFitnessPal is like a food diary app, but it also has a built-in feature where they basically even guide you as to what you need to do with your food, how much you need to consume in order to lose weight, gain weight. Okay, the methods that they use are not very impressive, but still they are doing that. They are doing their part. So what you need to do is that you need to put in the information whatever they ask for right now, and once the entire login, the account is created, they will obviously tell you how many calories you're supposed to consume and everything. It's okay, take it on the face value. we will I will tell you how to go about changing that particular number so that you can track your food properly. Okay, so first thing first, finish creating the account. Okay, now once you have finished creating the account, now I'm just looking at my notepad as to what is the next point. Yes, so once you have finished creating the account, then I am going to basically explain you how to navigate through the app interface. Okay, now what you see in front right now on the screen is my dashboard. Okay, this is like the home screen of Instagram. So that's what we call dashboard. Okay, now on my dashboard, if you see, it tells me how many calories am I supposed to be consuming today. So 1608. Okay, now when I swipe, okay, when I swipe to the left, I see it also gives me a macro breakdown. Okay, which means what is my protein, fat and carbohydrate breakdown, how much is supposed to consume. Now it's obviously showing 000 for today because I haven't tracked anything since morning yet. Okay, so I am going to be tracking my food maybe in the second half. So because I still haven't tracked it, so it shows 000. Okay, now if you see, it is also tracking some of my micronutrients like fat intake, sodium intake, cholesterol. Okay, it's obviously doing this because I have a premium account. So if you see on the top, it says MyFitnessPal Premium. Okay, so I've taken the premium feature. You don't really need to do it unless you really want it, but I wanted to basically check some of the features that they offer in the premium segment, so that probably clients like you, if tomorrow they want to know whether it's really worth going for the premium, so I should be able to give an answer. So right now I have recently purchased the premium section. uh, I am making some use of it, but not entirely. So my review still is pending whether it makes sense to go for the premium version or not. Okay, but anyways, moving further. Now, if I swipe it further, then it tells me about my carbohydrate, sugar, and fat, fiber intake. Okay, so the premium version is basically going to entitle you for some extra information. Okay, but at the moment, I don't think if you're just starting it out, I don't really know if it makes sense for you to invest that kind of money. However, it's not very expensive. If you feel like trying it, go ahead. Okay, so I've shown you the dashboard. Okay, now when you come a little lower than the dashboard, now if you see, it's also showing me some extra information about my steps and exercise. It's because I have connected the MyFitnessPal app to my Apple Health app, so it's pulling data from the health app. Okay, anyways, now when we go further, okay, so we have some icons on the Discover tab. Okay, so recipes, workouts, friends, community. Okay, what I want you to do is that I want you to straight away jump on the diary icon. Okay, so this is going to be the most important section for you. Okay, which is on the right hand side of the dashboard. Okay, so the food diary. Now, in the food diary, I'm just going to explain you as to how do you go about tracking your food. Okay, so let's say for example, if I want to track my breakfast, okay, and I say add food. Now these are the most important points, guys, here. Okay, I must have told you during our consultation meetings also that maximum times if you want to be right with the nutrition, it always makes sense to track food in its rawest form. Okay, so always try to log in raw weight of the food rather than the cooked weight, because there can be a possibility of a lot of error increasing if you consider the cooked weight, because the weight of the food can change depending on the medium of the cooking. Okay, sorry for that. Yes, so it can change depending on the medium of cooking. So what I would suggest is that take the raw weight of the food. Okay, so let's say for example, if I had a sandwich today in the morning, so for sandwich I would look for bread. Now if you see, there are a couple of things that you need to understand over here. History is a fantastic feature that they have on the app, because if I have already eaten certain foods and I have already selected in the past, it always gets saved in the history, and then I don't really need to get into the entire database looking for those foods. Okay, so if bread is something that I consume on a daily basis, if I find the right entry once, if I just add it on my diary, then it will always show up in the history feature. Okay, now let's say for example I don't use the history feature because I want to show you how to go about using this thing. So let's say if I say bread, okay, and probably I had like a multigrain bread, so I will type multigrain. Okay, so multigrain. Now if you see there are many different entries over here, okay, I would always advise you to look for entries which have a green tick next to it, because that is a sign of authenticity. Okay, like these are authentic entries in the database. Now this is possibly that probably MyFitnessPal themselves have added this particular entry in their database. Okay, but the any other entries where you don't see the green tick, it's not necessarily that they are wrong, but those are user generated entries. Okay, user generated entries, which means someone like you has probably tracked that particular food, and now it's got added to the master database of the app. Okay, so if I had to generally select, I would always prefer to go with a entry which is on the which has a green tick next to it. Now Arnold multigrain bread could be basically a brand again. Major Organics again could be a brand. So I would just go with bread over here. This entry, yes, bread multigrain. Okay. Now this is a very important part to understand. And if you guys understand one, maybe if you do it one or two times, then this just becomes very easy. It's very user friendly. Okay. So now what do? We use the serving size over here. Okay. Now serving size feature has the units of what you've eaten. Okay, so like generally I took a slice, but now let's say for example we don't really know what is the size of the slice that they have used over here, because the slices can be thin, they can be thick, they can be bigger, smaller, we don't really know that. Okay, if you're not aware of it, then you can assume that the size is a standard and then just select the number of slices that you've consumed. Let's say probably two slices I've eaten for breakfast today, so I will add here two. Okay, but let's say if I want to be really accurate with my selection of the food, I can also do bread. Okay, now generally what I can do is that since I know probably the roughly the I know the I've already weighed the slice of bread that I eat at home. So generally I could also do is that search for a bread entry. Okay, now what I could do is that probably see entries if the serving size allows me to select grams. Okay, not this one doesn't allow me. So let's say I select brown bread that I eat. Bread. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's say brown bread. And now it's giving me an options of 28 gram per slice. And now fortunately the slice that I eat at home is around 28-30 grams. So I could actually select this entry. This becomes a lot more accurate because it gives me the slice that I would actually eat. And if you can weigh the food in grams and then entry, then you will be very close to accuracy. Okay. But again, you will obviously get better with time. Okay. Now again, let's say this entry is works perfectly for me because it's actually giving me the serving size per gram. So if it's giving me serving size per gram, and let's say if I have eaten two slices at home and each slice was about 25 grams, so I can just put 50 over here. Okay, number of servings. So serving size is 1 gram, number of servings is 50. Obviously, it doesn't make sense as to what the entry is saying. Number of servings, I haven't eaten 50 slices of bread, but I'm just simply doing the math. So if the serving size is 1, and if I select 50 grams in number of servings, so it becomes 50 grams. And if you see, it gives me accurate data of how much carbs, protein and fat I have consumed. Okay, so this looks more realistic. So this is another way of playing around where you go exactly as per the grams that you've eaten in the bread. Okay, so now if you see, there are two entries over here. One where I did not have the option of selecting the serving size to grams, so I have just gone as per the number of slices that I've eaten, or here I get a lot more accurate. In the first entry it shows me I have consumed 200 calories. Now I could have not, I don't know, because it doesn't give me an option of grams. It's just saying slices, so I have to go with what. But since I know how many grams I have consumed and I select 50 grams of carbs, 50 grams of bread, so it tells me how much carbs, protein and fat I've consumed accurately. Okay, so this is one way of playing around with the food database entry. Let's say I probably had some peanut chutney along with it, so I would select peanut. Okay, and probably the amount of chutney that I would took had about 10 grams of peanuts, so I would select peanuts. I would select serving size, I would change it from 1 ounce to about, let's say, grams, and then again number of servings I would make it like, say, 10 grams. Okay, so that gives me an accurate data of peanuts of 10 grams. Now I can delete the first entry, so I'm just going to swipe to the left. Okay, sorry, today's data, swipe to the left and then delete from there. So this way brown bread is done. My peanut chutney, I've taken the peanuts into account. Okay, and then probably some tomato and cucumber that I took along with the tomato. Okay, one medium sized tomato, but I didn't actually take the entire tomato. It was probably half the tomato. So I've selected 0.5, and then again cucumber. Now it says one regular, so I'm going to select grams. Okay, or like say one stick, one piece. It gives you a rough calculation of the calories. So I'm just going to select grams and then probably put about 25 grams here. So that makes it into the total of 4 calories, hardly anything from tomato and cucumber. Okay, so this way I have finished to track. Now another interesting part is basically add the food, and then you can even scan the barcode and scan a meal option you've got. Okay, so in scan a meal, what happens is that the app actually tries to look at the food on your plate and give you a guess of how many calories does the food have. Okay, this is more to do with artificial intelligence that they are using. Scanner barcode is again a fantastic thing. If you are eating a product and which has a barcode, you can just probably scan a barcode and see if the food is actually present in their database. It's going to automatically pull up all the nutritional information. You just need to select the serving size and there you go. That's how you can start tracking it. Okay, now another example I just wanted to show you. So let's say if I have, let's say in lunch I have eaten, let's say, lentils. Okay, so I will type raw lentils. Okay, search, and now I have lentils, but the serving size is now cup this time. So so again going to click on this, make it, let's say, serving size per grams. My lentils that I took, dal, was about 40 grams, so I'm going to select 40 here, and that's how the food gets added to my history over here. If you see, and it also gets added in my lunch. Okay, similarly I want to add rice if I have eaten, so rice. Okay, so it already shows me white rice dry. Okay, now it's already showing me 60 grams because it's something that I've already eaten in the past, so I just add it, and coincidentally I did eat. If I'm planning to eat 60 grams, I will just click on it and add it. So this is exactly how, guys, we can keep it simple. Okay, now if you see, there's a proper some mistake which has happened in the entry. On the top, if you see, it shows 12,000 calories remaining, something like that. So there is some mistake which has happened. Okay, so which means if you see lentils, it's showing 14,000 calories. Okay, some mistake I've done. So what has actually happened is that probably I have selected something which is wrong. Okay, so I need to go to grams. I need to go to. Okay, so something is weird over here. Let's delete this thing. Look for a new entry. Okay, lentils. Okay, so I will select, let's say it says teaspoon fluid. Okay, I am not very comfortable using teaspoon, tablespoon. I don't really understand much, so I'm going to look for a new entry. So lentils raw. Okay, so now I'm selecting an entry which does not have a green tick on it, but I think I fairly know whether what the numbers look like. Okay, so I'm going to select, let's say from here. So probably let's see what it shows. So 1 gram and 40. Okay, so this entry has a little problem over here. So number of servings 1, but when it says 1 gram, it's actually not 1 gram, it's it's actually 100 grams. There is some issue with the entry. Okay, so I know if I've taken 50 grams of lentils, so I will just select into 0.5, or I've taken 40 grams, so I will just say 0.40, and now it's showing me the correct amount of information. So you see, sometimes it's just that the entries can have a problem, and then you just use your math to solve it. Okay, so now that is how I have added my entries in the database. Okay, now one another way that I wanted to explain you is that, obviously, like I told you, when you enter your own details, the app is going to create your calorie budget and your macros distribution. It's going to do. However, you can change it as per how you want it. Okay, so let's say if I click on the 1046 number where it says calories remaining, if I click on that, okay, I will scroll down a bit. Okay, sorry, and I go to macros. Now once I'm in the macros, okay, I need to touch here. Okay, sorry guys, just need a second to figure this out. Okay, sorry. So right now, let me go back and show it to you once again. Okay, so I'm in your food diary interface. Okay, if you see the number on the top which says 1046 for today. Okay, I'm going to touch on it. I'm going to go to calories. I'm again going to touch on the 1500 number which is showing over here highlighted in blue. Okay, once I select this particular number, now I can change my calories from here. So basically you can put the number that I have given it to you. Okay, so you can edit it from here. So let's say I make it 2000. Okay, now obviously if I want to change the figures over here, I can use the slider option, and I can change the protein, carb and fat what has been recommended to you. So you can change your numbers from here. Okay, or you can even select the grams. I think the grams feature to edit is only available in the premium version of the app. Otherwise you can do it from the percentage. So you can obviously you don't know exactly the percentage that I have made it for you in the protein, carb, fat. So if you don't know, what you can do is that you can slide the buttons over here, and you can see if the total is coming up to 100 and see what shows up on the top. Okay, so if the carbs are 150, protein 150, fat 67 right now, you need to slide in order to come to the total of what I have given it to you. Okay, so you need to if I have forgotten to mention to you, you can ask me, or probably the carb protein fat ratio will be there in your meal plan. Okay, so this is the way to go. Okay, and again, the more you use it, the more this thing actually keeps getting better and more comfortable for you. uh, you can again, like I said, consider upgrading the app if you feel the need to. I mean, it's, you can definitely give it a shot if you feel like. Okay, so I'm hoping that this video was helpful for you, and it's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable once you start applying whatever we've discussed. So do give it a try and let me know if there's any other question. Okay, thanks a lot for watching this video. Bye bye, take care.